All right, what's good? What's good? Welcome to the Pastor Out Podcast. My name is Abraham, and I'm here with my guy right here.
Sir, my name is Chibu.
All right, so just to kind of break down this channel, Pastor Out Podcast. We do everything: football, basketball. As you can see up there, I am a Los Angeles Lakers fan and a Dallas Cowboys fan, and pretty much these two sports are things that mean a lot to me. Just growing up watching sports, playing some of the sports as well, and I'll just kind of pass it to Chibu to run this down.
Yeah. Well, I've always been, I guess you can say, a sports fanatic, a historian of everything, to be honest. Basketball, football, baseball, soccer, you name it. I watch everything in a high totality. So any kind of debate, man, I'm always up for debates, bro. I'm always up for debates. Anything.
Okay, so he's always up for debates. So with that being said, we're gonna kick this off with a very not necessarily really controversial or anything, but a lot of people like to argue this a lot. So we're gonna talk about the 2016-2017 Warriors. We all know the powerhouse, KD, uh, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond. Okay, and then we're gonna talk about them versus the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. I mean, we don't even talk about the roster of that team. Everyone knows what's going on. So, who would you say, if it was possible for them to play each other in a game, who would you say would win?
What era are we playing in?
That's a good point. I'm gonna say something neutral. Nothing too much. Nothing that favors the 90s too much.
Honestly,
favors the Warriors too much.
To be honest, that was just a trick question. Any era, I got 2016, 2017 Warriors, bro.
And why is that?
Any era, bro.
Why do you say so?
3-point line, shorter.
True.
2, I don't see anyone, no guard on that team chasing Steph on the screens, like across the screens.
That's a good point.
Nothing. And when you think about it, other than like Jordan, Pippen, there wasn't like really any like elite wing hybrid. Like the first hybrid that you can say probably came to the league. Other than Reggie Miller was like a sharpshooter, but other than that, like when Grant Hill came in the league, he was tearing them boys up, no cap. And like if you get a 7-foot wing with guard handles and KD, that guy's an alien, bro. You'll tear them up. I don't care who. Obviously, I feel like Robin will win anything on Draymond, but I just think it's just overwhelming.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Bulls, even though I'm not trying to be all traditional, but like I'm gonna tell you why I think personally the Bulls are gonna win. Number one, you're most likely gonna have Draymond Green versus Dennis Rodman. Like that's the smartest thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Draymond, he's not a. I'm not gonna say Draymond Green sucks or whatever, but you're not. Draymond Green is not in the same class as Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is one of the best defensive players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Rebounders,
Mm-hmm.
like Draymond's gonna get some rebounds here and there, but I don't know if he's not gonna be able to match that. First of all, in the 90s, the defensive caliber back then was better than what it is right now. Because a lot of people are kind of lazy on defense in this era of basketball.
Why do you think so?
That's a different conversation. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
I disagree. Well, all right,
but I'm gonna say that's number one. Dennis Rodman is gonna shut down. He's gonna find a way to he's gonna terrorize. He's not even gonna shut him down. He's gonna terrorize Draymond. That's one. Number two, Klay Thompson. He can shoot. We know this. Like he can shoot. But Klay Thompson, when it comes to handling the ball, he's good enough, right? But if you put because a lot of the topics are saying like either Scottie will be guarding KD or Scottie will be guarding.
You'll have to guard KD.
He would have to guard KD. So with Klay Thompson, another reason why I say that could be a shutdown situation is because once again the defense back then was crazy. Like Draymond can shoot, but for him to get
Crazy,
open is gonna be crazy for
bro.
him.
It wasn't that crazy. I can't even lie to you.
I mean, but it's
It was
better than it
alright.
is right now.
In
Like
what way?
the reason and the number one reason is because a lot of basketball players today don't want to play defense.
It's not even
Like James Harden doesn't play. Even LeBron be lazy on defense sometimes.
that's another story because I think we're getting into this icebreaker too much. But like like the Spurs started low management, like with Pop. Like
Mhm.
they started this like scaling back on stuff, like taking plays off, Tim Duncan resting, like just to preserve their dynasty.
Yeah.
Like like in the modern NBA, you're not gonna like what LeBron did going to 8 straight finals. Like that's probably never gonna happen again. To be honest, like as a number one, like
Yeah.
going to 8 straight, because like you can see like you remember what happened to the Warriors last year. Their bodies broke down and stuff. Like so that's why I can't really say with defense like athletes today are better than athletes have ever
No,
been.
that's
Ever.
definitely true. I'm not gonna argue that. But I'm gonna wrap up what I'm gonna say. Those are my two things. Now Curry is gonna be a crazy person to guard,
Yeah.
like during that time.
Mhm.
Like he's not one of the I don't think they have the tools to guard a player like that. Like that kind of team doesn't have the tools. But I will tell you this. This is not me boosting whatever, but after we watch this documentary, like Michael Jordan's not gonna let them. He's not gonna let them lose. He's not gonna let them
You don't
lose.
know that.
Like Michael Jordan, like the clutch factor with Michael Jordan and the backup with Scottie Pippen, and even with the people coming from the bench, people like Steph Curry coming in, and you have Tony Kukoc who's like releases crazy from outside and even jump shot as well. Michael Jordan personally, like just looking at him and the way he played, you might not be able to find someone to guard him either. Just like you're saying, Steph Curry, no one's gonna guard him because those off ball screens, the screens, like the 3 point line and everything. But Michael Jordan also is not gonna be able to be guarded. KD's not gonna guard him. Curry's not gonna guard him. Um, who's gonna guard? You're gonna have to take away Draymond Green from Dennis Rodman. Now Dennis Rodman's bullying some dude
No,
in the paint.
they'll have Clay on him. They'll have
I just personally think just like you can't shut down.
Mike will get his, but like, look, Bron got his too. Like, you got to think about it. 2016-2017 finals. Bron got his too. Like, Bron averaged like what a 35-point triple double. Like, that guy was going berserk,
True.
right? So Bron got his. What happens to the rest of his team? Like, the way like you're gonna have to prepare defensively, how to scout for those guys. Like, you have the two greatest shooters ever. Like, probably two of the five greatest shooters ever on one team, in Steph and Clay. And then you have KD, a 7-foot sniper, handles of a guard, 3-level scorer. Like that right there is like there's really honestly nothing you can do to stop it. And then other than like Jordan, I mean that's why it's hard to like kind of compare eras. Like Jordan wasn't a great 3-point shooter,
He wasn't. That's true.
but to me, obviously, I think if you translate his game into this era, there's no reason to think that he wouldn't be at least a 37% 3-point shooter from the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like other than like Steve Kerr and Kukoc, like they didn't really have like people.
But
on
when you
stretch.
think
So,
about
like,
it,
they
though,
can shrink the floor.
but you also have to think about the fact is back in that day they didn't have a reason to like because the 3 point game was not that like vital to the game. So like you could like Mike Jordan was not a great 3 point shooter, but he's arguably the greatest player of all time, or at least the majority say he's the greatest player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't that good of a 3 point shooter. So it just comes down to like back in that day, like 3 point shooting was not like nobody was really trying to work on that like that. So if you never know if you brought Michael Jordan now into this day and age, like now that 3 point shooting is vital, he would who knows, he could probably be better. But that's kind of getting off topic, and we're kind of moving on from this icebreaker right into the next topic. Now, the next topic really connects with this as well. So we spent at least I have, and I believe most basketball fanatics and most basketball fans have spent about a, a month or at least 5 weeks watching The Last Dance. 10 episodes, 2 episodes every Sunday. And that finished this past weekend. So after watching the whole, because every episode you get this different perception of Mike and the Bulls and other players in the Bulls and stuff like that. So just looking at the whole series as a whole, do you think what final perception did you get from the show of the documentary?
Um, honestly, it didn't. It didn't get me anything. Like I didn't learn anything about Jordan. I didn't really think or really believe. I mean, I watched a lot of like stuff on YouTube and other things. I've even watched clips. I actually spent this whole quarantine, watching from '91 finals. Watched the first three-peat. Watched the second three-peat. So I mean, like Jordan's greatness is obviously we already know how great Jordan was. To me, what I really got from it was kind of how he portrayed his teammates. Like honestly, like the way I saw Scotty in that doc made him look very bad. Like this was your number two. Like
Yeah,
this was your guy. This was your partner, bro. Like and without him, you don't win. And obviously without Jordan, like Pippen doesn't get his 6 rings too. But it's like it just looked like he was portrayed like someone that quits on his team, someone that when the going gets tough, he crumbles. Like we show they showed when Pippen missed those 2 free throws
yeah.
against Indiana, but they didn't show when Karl Malone missed the 2 free throws against the Bulls. Like why do y'all think they say the mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays because of that those free throws missed? Like it kind of showed Pippen looking like a scrub. It kind of made him.
It,
He kind of seemed like he was throwing a couple of his teammates under the bus, you
yeah,
know. So I
and
mean, like even though Jordan's like the ultimate. Like when you think of a winner, like Jordan, Tiger Woods, and Tom Brady are like Serena Williams. Like those are gonna be like the first 4 names to come out of your mouth. But like one thing we gotta ask ourselves, like, does winning at all costs, like, is it like the ultimate achievement? You know what I'm saying?
true. So okay, for me, definitely, I definitely agree with that Scotty statement because I'm pretty sure, I think it was episode 7 or 8. It was episode 7 or 8 where they were talking about when Mike. This was when Mike was in retirement, and Scotty was, the leader of the team.
Yeah,
And this was the game they played. I don't remember what game, but I remember
New
it
York.
came down. It was New York, and it
Yeah.
came back. It came down to the last minute where someone had to shoot the ball,
Mhm.
and Phil Jackson was like, "Okay, yeah, Tony Kukoc is going to shoot the
Mhm.
ball because
Yeah.
he's had." And like Scotty's reaction to that was like, it was like very wimpy. If you get what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like it really made him look like a scrub. Like the dude was not looking, he was not looking good at all. Just the way he reacted. It's kind of like that crybaby reference everyone's talking about. Like he like a lot of people are crybabies in the league. Like yeah, you can say LeBron's a crybaby. Like a lot of people are crybabies in the league, but you never see stuff like that happening.
Yeah.
So it's like seeing that like that really opened a new perception of like my view on Scotty. And I don't even know how I felt about it because even in the interview, he stated he was like, "Yeah, I felt bad," and it said that he cried in locker room. They all cried and stuff, but he still said that if he would do it again. So like it's just one of those things. And concerning Michael Jordan, I mean, we all knew Michael Jordan was, we knew he was a cocky guy. He really didn't. I mean, he cared about his teammates in a sense, but in a sense, he didn't care about their feelings or however things affected them. And he wasn't that guy who kind of cared for. He didn't care how it was how you're gonna feel about this. Like if he was gonna tell you suck, do better. He doesn't care if like you're soft minded, you're like you have anger problems. Like he didn't care about that. He's just gonna tell you how it was. And one thing I would say is from the outside looking in, and probably even just facing him, it looked very terrible. But I feel like every team needs that like cocky guy. Every team needs that guy who's just like that guy who's really straight to the point, nonchalant, like blunt, like doesn't hide anything, like doesn't sugarcoat anything. The reason I say that because that's kind of that's kind of what pushes people to go to like their limit. Like like every team needs a nice guy like Scottie Pippen. Then they need the guy who's gonna tell you how it is, like Michael Jordan. And then you also need that kind of like mediator on your team as well. So like I feel like if they didn't have Michael with that mindset, if Michael was more like a Scottie Pippen, like a calm, nice guy, I don't think they would have won as much as they did. Because it's like I'm a basketball player, I'm a grown man, and this man's talking to me like this. I'm
Honestly,
gonna show you.
like
You know what I'm saying?
one thing you'll probably see from like all time greats, like they they know what to like how to get the best out of their
Yeah.
teammates. Like rest in peace, Kobe. Like Kobe was like the carbon copy of MJ, like from
Yeah.
leadership, from everything.
To
But
plan,
like,
even
but
playing style.
even when like when Kobe got to the later years post Achilles tear, and like it was really just him and a lot of young bulls. Like you can see how his leadership changed. Like now, just like being a model example, like pushing them. You know what I'm saying? Like pushing them in a great way. Like he knows like, oh, these are young bulls. We're definitely not even talking about even competing for a championship, let alone even being the top 10 seed. Like they're gonna be in the like top 5 lottery like every year. Like he became a mentor. Like he kind of knew like his limit, like or like what they need to get where they are. Like you can't expect him to push the 2015, 2016 Lakers that had like Larry Nance, Jordan
True.
Clarkson, like the way he pushed
Shaq and them.
not even Shaq. Like I mean, Shaq's story is another one. But like even talking about like how he pushed, like you heard the stories about how he pushed Paul Gasol, like when they lost to the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
And then they that year they lost to the Celtics was also like the Olympics in Beijing, and like how he was just like when they played Spain, he was going straight at Paul just to show like how he's soft, like he's soft. Like he knew like oh he had to get in that guy's head to know that oh when we
Yeah.
face. I mean, obviously they were expecting to face the Celtics, but when they faced Orlando, they had Dwight. You know what I'm saying? So like they knew like he got the best out of Paul. Paul knew like, oh, not only am I this skilled person that has a enormous back, a big man. Like I know I have to be physical because that's how playoff play is. And like Kobe knew like if he doesn't get with the program, like they're not winning anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things about like being able to read your teammates,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
and Jordan was able to do it.
mhm.
But definitely, so back on this documentary, like looking all over ESPN, like what you see is how this documentary has put more pressure on LeBron and has kind of like changed the whole GOAT, greatest of all time conversation, like over the past month, and especially recently after this documentary just concluded. Do you think that this documentary changed the perception, people's perception on this GOAT conversation?
Honestly, I don't think so. I feel like there's like several stuff that like when you have your mind made up, it's made up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I think that's one of those things. Like I mean, to be honest, like it was really after like undeniably like I don't get mad when people say like Jordan is the GOAT. But like I have LeBron as the GOAT. Like I've watched Jordan. I mean, I didn't live in that era, but like I've watched
Videos and clips.
videos. I've watched
many clips.
I've watched actual full games of like Jordan's playoffs. I've also watched LeBron his whole career from '03, and it's like, man, the landscape of the NBA is just different, man. Like,
Yeah.
look, like they create teams now in this NBA to beat other people. Like when you saw the 2016, 2017 after Braun came back from 3-1 against the Warriors, they did what? Got KD to beat
And
who?
then it was gone
Right.
from there
LeBron went where? From Cleveland to Miami to beat who?
to beat
Boston.
the
Right.
Celtics.
But the Nets, even though it failed, the Brooklyn Nets did that trade to try to beat Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron went back to Cleveland, made sure they traded for Kevin Love to focus their to beat the Spurs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like teams nowadays, like the way the NBA is nowadays is like the free agency works where it prevents teams from winning 6 rings in a decade. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever gonna see that again, like what the Bulls did. We didn't have free agency the way we did now in the '90s or in the '80s, right? Like, there's no way Stockton and Malone stay together 17 years without winning anything.
Yeah.
Like, if they had a way, there's no way. If there was player empowerment back then, Pippen would have demanded. Even though he did demand a trade, Pippen would have been out of Chicago.
He would.
Right? Like, he was probably arguably, if not the best player in the world, second best player in the world when MJ retired.
No, yeah, and even back then, like the era definitely affected his, ability to leave the Bulls because there were like the league and like organizations and teams they had more power on people to hold him back, to hold him back from like leaving teams. Mm-hmm. Like in this day and age, if Scotty it was this day and age, Scotty would have left that team within like weeks. Mm-hmm. He'd have been gone. Right. But like the fact that he had to wait that long and still didn't even leave the team, he came back. It was just one of those things. But concerning like the perception of the GOAT, for me, I think it changes people's perception who were looking for it to change or who were looking for something out of the documentary.
To convince them.
Yeah. No, like you see, dude, like from high school, I've been hearing people saying LeBron sucks. It's like, bro, you can't even say like how you gonna say that? Like you can't even say like how you gonna say the arguably one of the best players of all time or the best players of all time sucks. Like you can't say that. That's outrageous, first of all. And then like, those kind of people are people who are looking for something to put against LeBron. So like those kind of people were definitely tuned in to watch this documentary because they wanted to see, okay, oh yeah, Jordan was more tough. Okay, yeah, that's against LeBron too. Oh, okay, Jordan was more, he won more rings. Okay, bet. Oh, look at his game performances. Oh, like they were trying to count all those key points that they can use to put against LeBron to change the perception on the GOAT conversation. Because
so like, you're basically saying like it was an agenda kind of thing.
Yeah, because prior to this, it's like we saw a lot of things about Jordan, but we saw more things during the documentary, right? So like prior to this documentary, people couldn't say some things because they didn't have anything to back it up. Like, they couldn't say, oh, Jordan's better than LeBron or Jordan's the greatest of all time because of this, because they hadn't seen it yet. But after watching the documentary, they saw things from Jordan on the court, off the court, his mindset, the reason why he did this. Yeah. So, it brings it out to many things because people will go all the way from saying, oh, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time because he put up this much amount of points to all the way down to Mike Jordan's the greatest of all time because he had this swag in his walk that looks better than LeBron. Like anything they could find to like put down LeBron as being the best of all time, they were going to find it. That's what I believe. I don't necessarily believe anyone who was just watching with an open mind kind of like their mindset changed if they already had like, oh, Jordan was the best or LeBron was the best. It was really just those who were just kind of looking for that edge.
Honestly, like I'm leaning towards now, like with just crowning who's the best in their era. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
because like it's a lot of what ifs. Like I'm like the one thing that's been pissing me off about this documentary, right, is them saying that LeBron and KD can't survive in the 90s and the 80s.
No, that is actually
like that's the most blasphemous thing ever.
Because the reason I also say that is because like in those days they were very traditional. So KD's not playing small forward. He's 7 feet tall. He's probably gonna play like maybe center power forward, right? Mm-hmm. You put KD, a 7 feet tall, actually small forward who can dribble, shoot, pass, all that kind of stuff against a center who's still struggling to pick the ball off the ground. He's cooking. Like he's cooking.
He's a souped up version of Hakeem, bro.
He's
like
cooking.
Look what Olajuwon did to people, with his skills. But so, I don't know how you can say that, because like if are you gonna now say that people in the 90s and 80s couldn't play with the people in the 60s and the 70s?
Because it can go like you can take that over time and it just keeps it doesn't make more sense because it's like and I agree with what you're saying about everything being like you picking the greatest of all time in your own era. Just first of all, number one thing that stands out is LeBron and Michael Jordan don't even play the same. LeBron's a 6'8", 250 plus.
LeBron is like honestly, if he had LeBron scores because like he can, bro. Like it's pretty easy.
He has a pass first mentality.
Like bro, like you can see Braun finish the first quarter with like 0 points or maybe 2 points, and then you
score,
and then you just like then it's the end of the game. You're like, how did he get 28, 10, and 9? Like Like he gets that in his
It's
sleep because it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy is like a chess mover. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what to bring the best out of his teammates. MJ too. MJ can pass. MJ's a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? MJ can drop 35 in his sleep. But I've never like how many times has MJ really been counted out?
not
Compared to
not really.
LeBron?
Not like he's been counted out, but like not compared. Like LeBron's been counted out since he came to the league. First of all, like there's a clip.
This man was on Sports Illustrated at like 16, 17.
Dude, there's something I saw like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I was watching like one of these like LeBron James YouTube documentaries. There was a pre-interview before LeBron got drafted, and they were talking to like the Cavs, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is new rookie, 18 years old. He's most likely gonna be first overall pick. Come to the Cavs. What do y'all think?" And like they were just like a lot of them were like dude, just because he's on Sports Illustrated as an 18-year-old, or because he's gonna be the first overall pick, doesn't mean he's gonna do anything for us. Like he's not gonna just come here and just like lead the team. And that's what he did. He came there and led the team. Like it's just one of those things.
Throughout the history of the league, right? How many small market teams have really won a ring? Right? You're going to hear the Lakers have like 16, 17.
The
Boston
Celtics
has, like,
have
man,
forever.
that's a big market. Miami has some.
Bulls.
Bulls have some. Chicago's a big market. Houston has a couple.
Pistons, you can throw in there as well.
Pistons, like they're a pretty decent market. They're a mid-level market. Detroit's still a big city. Philly has some.
Guess you can say the Warriors as well, right?
Golden State has some. But the teams that are like small market that have some, like, or one, Milwaukee. But who did Milwaukee have? They had Oscar Robertson, then drafted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Talk about San Antonio Spurs. They had David Robinson, got hurt. They drafted what's his name? Tim Duncan, right? So like there's a little kind of luck that goes in with it. No one is coming to Cleveland to play with LeBron.
True.
Right? Like you need to have a competent front office. Like there's a lot that goes into it for someone to win. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a lot of the greats were blessed to be in great markets where they had confident GMs and legendary coaches. So,
and speaking of that championship point as well, so when it comes to that argument of greatest of all time, the easiest, like from anybody, especially from those who don't really have super like intense knowledge of sports or basketball in general, first thing you're gonna hear is Jordan has 6 rings, LeBron has 3. Like it's one of those things like that. That's kind of like always a argument ended right there, because it's like you can argue that, but it's like from someone who doesn't really know much about sports or doesn't really look deep into it as much as like you would or I would, like they can end the argument right there just by saying Jordan has 6 rings. So, and I've always thought like to myself, I'm like, rings matter a lot. Like rings, yes, they matter. It's definitely a big point of players' accomplishments. But then you think about the fact that like, yeah, he took the team to the champion. Like Jordan took the team to 6 championships and won 6 championships. He was probably the MVP of every game. He did everything. He put them in that position.
yeah.
But at the same time, he didn't single-handedly win those rings. Like you give him the credit for taking them there and helping them win the ring. He's the main factor of why they win of why they won the ring. But at the end of the day, a championship is still team effort, no matter what. So it's one of those things. That's why I believe like rings, they should matter, but it shouldn't hold as much weight as it's holding. You know what I'm saying?
It's honestly, it holds as much weight as it does because of it's really just been the Jordan Braun argument.
Yeah.
Like if you want to say like who's the GOAT basketball player, like when they say greatest, obviously they're saying like accomplishments. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has to be on the top of that list. Kareem was state champ throughout high school. Comes into UCLA, wins 3 straight NCAA championships, 3 straight NCAA Player of the Year. Comes in 1970, or I think 1970, 1971 championship. Gets Milwaukee to the championship. They win. He has 6 rings too. He went to 10 finals. All-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
Unstoppable post hook. oldest Finals MVP. So like if you want to count rings, like
You gotta put it. You gotta put a lot of
yeah,
like there. Like my thing is like that's here's my point now. There's probably some random guy that played on Michael Jordan's team that if he walked in this place today, would look at him like, who's this? He has rings. Like he has rings because he was on the Jordan team. Now, does that make him better than another guy who doesn't have rings but is actually a good player? It's just one of those things. Not saying like the dude wasn't a good player, but he was more of like a role player.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him better than a guy who started on a team but never won a ring just because, like, you know what I'm saying? And then another thing is looking into the different teams and like in that era, I'm not even going to talk about era at this point in time. The team that they had when they played the championship, what team they played, and what like situation they were in as well. Now, Jordan winning all those rings, all those 6 rings, he was the terrorist. He was the one. He had the terrorist team, the power team, the super team that was killing everybody. He played with them. LeBron played with that super team for 4 years, the Heat, in which he won 2 out of 4, right? Now, the rest of the championship is with the Cavs. Now, let's bring in all the championships he's lost, right? Okay. The only time you can say LeBron messed up, folded, LeBron didn't eat that. Like he didn't eat it. It's the Dallas one. Like he didn't eat it at all. He folded that. He folded that. And you can never argue that. Now that's one. Let's go to the Cavs.
Let's start with 07.
Let's start that because that one hurts. That one kind of hurts.
That boy was 22, bro. What do you expect?
Like, what do you expect? 20? I'm 23.
He ran. He's my age. He ran into the Spurs dynasty. Can you name how many people can you name from that team other than LeBron? Who was the head coach?
I don't know.
I think it was Mike Brown.
It's just one of those things that I don't look into. First of all, and also, like it's just like even back then, I was not as big as a basketball fan as I am right now. So like that's one of the things as well. So, but like realistically speaking, that team that he played with, like his second best player was like very much behind him, as opposed to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was better than Scottie. That's not an argument, but it wasn't like a really big gap. Now that's the first year of loss. Now when we go into the first time he played the Warriors that was the 2015 finals, right?
His partners got hurt.
What?
His
injuries weighed him down, and the Warriors they were coming into that super team. It was coming up like. They were building that super team, the Splash Bros. You know, Draymond Green, dirty talk.
Honestly, like if you just gave if you gave LeBron like one of them, like even if it was just Kevin Love,
he would have done something.
I think they would have won that series. Like and that Warriors, they're coming into their own. Like they shouldn't have won, even though they're a great team. I don't think they would have beat a LeBron team that had. Even just Kevin Love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why that championship DNA, like once they got that championship, it just rolled over into 2016. That's why they won 73 games. Like they were feeling themselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what a championship does.
Okay, so now they roll over to the next year. LeBron wins the next one, right? Now the next 2 losses, first of all, they acquired KD. Now they're that super team that everyone hates. That team that no one like I heard, you know how many times I heard people say, "I'm not watching basketball this year."
Bro, KD was my boy. Like,
but
you know what I'm saying? It's just principle, man. Like I respect you so much. Like when it was free agency, I was like, oh, if he doesn't stay at OKC, I'd like to see him. I don't care if he makes a super team. I wanted to see him join maybe the Clippers.
A team that he can use to beat the team that took him out. Like, you know?
Boston, Clippers, Boston, or maybe Miami. That's my team. That's my favorite team, the Heat. Like, I was just, like, thinking, like, man, like, go to one of those 3 teams. Like, it was not talk, like, the day before, 2 days before, I started hearing more rumblings about him going to Golden State.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you were 48 minutes away from going to the finals with OKC. You're up 3-1. You lost 3-1. You blew a 3-1 lead, and then you go to the team that beats you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, you can't really just, like, KD, you're a great player. Like, you're going to end up top 10, no doubt. But, like, you can't justify being the greatest, like, or being a great doing that. You just can't.
Like they're like in a lot of books, like all the greats, you never really see anybody
Mm-hmm.
go from a team that they're trying to carry to the finals to a team that has stopped them from going to the finals. Like
That's just like that's a lot of like
like
AA.
dude,
We see a lot of that AAU, man. Like I mean, you'll be on one AAU team,
yeah.
they beat you, but like they
And then
know
you
you're
go to
not.
that
So
one
you go
team
to
that's your
that one.
friend.
That's what you be seeing,
And
bro.
it's just one of the, like, bro, even back in the day, people used to leave teams because like Dennis Rodman, he left the team, the bad boys that were winning, went to the Bulls. The Bulls were winning too, but the bad boys, like, he had all these.
Yeah, but like he stayed from so like what happened there? He went from Detroit.
And then he went to the Spurs.
Spurs.
He went to the Spurs,
You
and
know,
then
Pop couldn't control that guy.
Mhm.
You know, so
Phil Jackson was really
Yeah.
the perfect coach. But that's off topic.
yeah.
It's just things like you see people leave, like they don't leave. The greats don't leave their team to go to a team that has been hurting them or
Yeah.
beating them or stopping them
Facts.
from going. Like
Mhm.
even LeBron that everyone holds against him, he didn't go from the Cavs to the Spurs. I mean, the Cavs to the Celtics
Mhm.
to beat them. He went to the Heat so he can beat the Celtics. Because once he went to the Warriors, he gave up. He said, "Okay, yeah, you're better than me," and he went there. So that's one thing. Now LeBron lost that finals, and also Kyrie was hurt. Kyrie was kind of in and out of injury, like a lot of times during that series.
He messed up his knee in that thing, like that game.
So that was so that was done, and they already had the super team. Now Kyrie leaves. LeBron took a bum Cavs team.
Bro, that team had like when I look back at it, like in the moment, I wasn't like, oh man, like they're that bad. But like when I look, like when I see my boy LeBron is in the Lakers now, and like I see like old graphics of like 2018 finals.
Yeah.
They have freaking Lance Stevenson and Kyle Korver on the thing with him. I'm like, bro,
But what are you gonna do?
That team had no business in the finals.
Even just the eye test alone, looking at that team, it looks like it was an NBA player playing like playing with some G League people. That's what it looks like.
He had no business.
They had no business being in the finals. He got swept. So
business.
he shouldn't have been in the finals in the first place. And first of all, the teams he played to get to the finals were not even easy.
People gotta choose like what hill they're dying on. Like, are you gonna punish LeBron for reaching there? Like, is it better to apply online for an internship and not even hearing back from them, or applying, getting to the final round and not getting the job? Which one's better? Like, which one shows more of an
I
accomplishment?
mean, you get into the final round because it shows that you get into the final round, so there was a reason. Like you got there.
Like,
you had. So it's it was just one of those things because like people would try to say, oh yeah, LeBron he's gone to the finals 9 times, he's won 3 times, but like those 6 times he's lost, there's evident reasons why he's lost. Like it's not because LeBron, like it's only once that he actually folded. The rest of it is just teams. Like the team he's playing, the team he's playing with, the team he's playing against, all those factor into you winning and losing the finals. It's just one of those things.
Like, I feel like the most adversity you probably see in like just the Bulls in was probably maybe the Suns series. Suns were not gonna beat them anyway. But like,
it's just one of the looking at the Bulls playing other teams in the finals. It's the same way as looking at the Warriors playing other teams in the finals. It's just one of those things.
You're gonna win.
Like they passed the eye test immediately. Mm-hmm. That's one. LeBron never had, even with the Heat, the super team he had is not the super team that the Bulls or the Warriors had. It's not.
That second year in Miami, people were saying OKC was going to beat them, right? OKC won the first game,
and they said it was like, LeBron's going to fold again.
So like,
it's just one of those things. But
actually, to finish this up, the reason why rings really shouldn't count is because when MJ retired during his first three-peat, even after he got a second ring, people were already calling this guy the GOAT. Right? He didn't even have 6 rings. He didn't even have... Magic already won 5 already. Like, Kareem already had... Bird already had 3. Like, he was not even, like, there yet. But they're already calling him the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why are you saying 6? Or this person had 6, this person had... Bill Russell had 11. Like, it really only became an argument because of the Braun versus MJ propaganda. But the reason it's still a conversation is because people are bringing it up. Like, it wouldn't be a conversation if people weren't bringing it up every 2 weeks. So
it's just one of those things that like my final say on this is rings should not matter as much as they do. They should matter to an extent. But when you count the rings, bring in certain facts, how the ring was won, why the ring was not won, all that kind of things, bring it in. But I guess really as a conclusion for this podcast, I'm just gonna shine the light on the new exciting news we've heard. I mean, it's exciting for me because we're hearing the NBA is going to return in Orlando and Disney World.
Yes, sir.
Where there's gonna, that's where they're gonna finish the NBA season. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's a good idea to bring the NBA season back?
Yes. When would you bring it back? I don't understand people that say we should wait, just start next season. How are you going to start next season with what? Like, are you going to start a new season of a show without watching the season finale?
That's true.
Like, how are you going to know like what concludes? You just can't say, all right, let me just jump to season 6 without knowing how season 5 ends. Like, it affects a lot of things. Like, this is going to be the new reality. Like, we're not going to have fans.
You're gonna see how people actually play raw basketball.
You need to see how, because if y'all don't know what the CBA is, that's the collective bargaining agreement that like controls like players' contracts, freedom of movement, even up to like TV contracts, and it's like basically players and owners like agreeing to something, the collective bargaining agreement. So the one that we're currently in is going to be scrapped because we're not having no fans. That's arena revenue that we're not going to have anymore. And that affects contracts. That affects a lot of stuff. And you don't know how that's going to affect anything without seeing how this is going to play out first. Like, you can't just jump into next season without knowing what the repercussions are going to be from like even just this little experiment. True. Plus, like, this season was way too interesting. Like, this was like the most level playing field you could say we've had in a while. Yeah. So, like, and now that they're just going to be in a neutral zone, like no home court advantage,
no crowd,
no
nothing.
crowd. Like that's this is like
straight up basketball.
This is mentality, like, bro, you got to hoop. Like, this is like, I really want to see it, man. I really want to see it. Plus, I've been sport deprived so long. Like, my park and 2K can only go on for so long. So, like, I need to see
for me, I'm gonna say two things. So the first reason I think the season should come back. Dude, like this for a minute for the past 5 years, this is the most even we've seen the NBA on the East and the West. You have the Boston, like every team has like those two key people. Like you can go to the Boston Celtics. They have a good amount. They have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, all those kind of people on there. Now you go to the Brooklyn Nets. They have when KD's healthy, they have KD, Kyrie, they have DeAndre Jordan. You go to the Mavs, they have Luka and Porzingis. Miami they have Jimmy Butler and people. They have all those people over there. The Lakers have LeBron, AD. The Clippers have Kawhi. All those people like all this, like you see all this even matchups coming up, like with Houston and Harden and Westbrook. Like this, like it's very even. There's that. We're having that big two, plus, big three.
There's other like small storylines. You know what I'm saying? Like CP3 basically got exiled into OKC. And then no one gave them a chance
at all.
They're the 5th seed in the playoffs right now.
They like the playoffs start today. They're in. They're literally in the playoffs. So you have that balanced team. That's why I think a lot of people are eager, including me. I'm ready to see the season. Honestly, that's number one. Number two, this one's very biased. I need to see LeBron win this ring.
Hey, he's getting that ring.
I need to see LeBron win this ring.
He's getting that ring. I think people know that. And
plus, I already have someone over my head with this Lakers versus Clippers battle for the Western Conference Finals. So I need to see that as well. Plus, I need to see my man LeBron win this ring. So please, if you're working hard to try to stop the NBA season, stop, because I'm praying. Because this season's going to start back up. My enemies will fall. But that pretty much concludes today's podcast. Thank you for viewing. Appreciate my boy Chibu for showing up. Follow my guy on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Thank you for tuning in. All right, peace.